All right, let's do this then. Scottish games, just a quick video to go through them. As always, it's hard to get onto them just with due to the games not really being on TV and stuff. But we got to start with Rangers, don't we? We have to start with Rangers at the weekend. It's a last minute winner. It's a goal from Max Aarons, who has been slated. Tavernier has been brought back into the fold, and he gets the winner for Rangers, and it's a huge one for Rangers and Russell Martin. It really, really is. It's a last minute winner. You can say it's poor against a team like Livingston that they should be beaten, obviously, relatively comfortably. But nah, I think there's nothing better than last minute winners, right? There's nothing better than last minute winners. If you can get them, I think they're the best way to win a football match, even more so than a dominant 2-3-4-5-0. It's just that feeling, that elation. They beat Hibs, they lose to Genk, so it's that kind of up and down again, but it's his first win in the league. And they're gonna need to try and obviously go back to back there, but they've got themselves off the mark, and that's the most important thing. So let's see how it goes for them after this game. I find it really interesting. Tavernier gets the opening goal, and Rangers fans, I feel like for like 3 years, have been saying Tav is not the guy. We need to get rid of Tav. And every time I watch it, I'm like, he's the man pulling you out the shit. I know he misses the penalty in that game, obviously, which isn't great, but he seems to pull Rangers out the shit time and time again. So yeah, he's better than Max Aarons back there, isn't he? Max Aarons has had a poor one. That goal might lift him, obviously. Raskin is just huge coming back in. Really, really is. He has a little dink for Mioski early on where he should score. And then he's involved in the penalty. He's just seemed to come in. He's a tricky player. He's skillful. He makes things happen for Rangers, and they've been quite blunt and side to side and very boring kind of philosophy style football, which we've been saying. And with him in the team, it just looks like there's a little bit more magic, a little bit more spark to them. So he's made amends with that. He's put his ego to the side, whatever's happened, and they're trying to get themselves back in with Raskin. So that's massive, and now they need to go on a run and win. Celtic draw 0-0 away at Hibs. Sorry, Celtic draw 0-0 at home to Hibs. It's another draw for Hibs, but look, you can't complain going to Celtic Park. Watch the highlights. Ian Acho hits the bar. I mean, Celtic from the highlights, all over them, just could not put the ball in the back of the net. But Hibs resilient again. They get away with another point. They're going to need to start getting some wins. They've got the derby on Saturday at Tynecastle, which I'm very, very fortunate. I'm going to be there for that. I can't wait. A late kickoff. When do you ever see that with derbies these days? Absolutely fantastic. So really excited to see that. But poor from Celtic. There's the boos. And look, on the other side, you've got Hearts beating Falkirk at home 3-0, which is just a result and a performance that Hearts should be putting if they're going to be anywhere serious about certainly getting third, but definitely if they're looking to split Rangers and Celtic, beating Falkirk at home should be 3 points in the bag, no brainer, and you should do it comfortably, and they do that. I can't, not even going to attempt to pronounce the boy's name that gets the opening goal, but it's a hell of a strike, and it's one of those that probably 9 out of 10 times goes into Rose Ed. But it's not even just the finish, it's the way he dinks past a couple of the players as well. He cuts inside and he bends it in, and it's an absolute screamer. It's another header from a set piece for the third goal. It's poor from Falkirk for the second, where Shanklin hits it from the edge of the box. Should the keeper do better? Probably, but he's maybe not expecting it. He's kind of backtracking, but like, it's just a solid win for Hearts, and things just feel been a lot of to and fro, and at the start of the season it was a bit chaotic for them, and as it is for everybody, and things just feel like they're settling down. McInnes has got all the players in. He's working out who fits where with all the new players and everything like that, and the balance seems to just start getting there, and that is absolutely huge for Hearts. And we know it's one game a week, and look, a derby game, it's that old cliche. Anything can happen in it, and kind of form goes out the window, so to speak. But Hearts have got to be favourites coming into that game. Hibs are going to be solid defensively. They're a bit more direct than Hearts. But I expect Hearts to get on the front foot and take the game to them. And again, I watched McInnes' press conference after the game, speak so well about football. He talks about the derby game and just says, look, like, you've got to be sensible in those games, but I want my Hearts team to have flying wingers. I want us to go forward quickly. I want us to be attacking. I want us to score goals. I'm not really interested in keeping clean sheets all the time. I know every manager will want clean sheets, don't get me wrong, but I just love the mentality and the attitude, and that's what you've got to do. And I just think sometimes, you see him in the quarter zip, doing the press conference, that's kind of the style right now out there for kind of men, and he just suits it, and sometimes times and eras come along, and it just suits people, and it feels like this just really does suit McInnes down to a T, this. So it's a big game on Saturday at Tynecastle. They're going to need to go there and get the win, but Dundee United Kilmarnock beat Dundee United. St Mirren win at the weekend. Motherwell beat Aberdeen, and again Aberdeen, watch the highlights, just chance after chance after chance, cannot for the life of them put the ball in the back of the net. And he's going to struggle to keep his job, isn't he? The Scottish Cup wins kind of keeping him in there, but they were really, really poor before that. They were really, really poor after it since this season started, and you can't just continue to keep doing that. You can't continue to keep losing games and not scoring goals, and it is frustrating. There's chances they should take, and it's a win for Motherwell, and that's huge. And just on the context of all of that, about what I've been saying about these Scottish games, again, watching the highlights of that game and watching the highlights of Dundee United and Kilmarnock, the league feels more technical, but it also feels more, the league feels pacier, it feels faster, it feels like teams are attacking more. The atmosphere and the energy in the ground seem to be picking up a little bit more because teams are playing attacking football. When I used to come back home from the States and I used to watch the Scottish games and sports scene and the highlights and stuff like that, it was always slow and it was stuck in that kind of, it's a battle and tackling and grabbing people. And look, I love that side of the game, and I think that the game right now in Scotland's in a bit of a sweet spot where you're getting the more technical, quicker style football, but it still has that mix of some big tackles and that, and there's still that type of player in and around Scotland at the moment, which will fade out like the Premier League has. It will fade out over the next few years if Scotland continues to improve as a league, which I really do think it will. But again, look, it's exciting. It really, really is exciting, and I like watching that. I think anyone does. It gets you off your seat, and like I say, it's getting the fans going there more. It's getting the atmospheres up a little bit when your team's like attacking and it's not boring and it's not a slog, especially coming into the winter months where the pitches get really poor. It gets a bit tough. It'll be maybe a bit harder to do that, and we might see it revert back to that type of football. But really, really impressed with the managerial stuff in Scotland. Really impressed with the coaching. Really impressed with the level so far this season. Rangers get that win, like I said at the start of the video. Hearts need to keep the momentum going. McInnes keeps saying it's a hell of a long season. Celtic, there's cracks, there's a disconnect between the fans, the manager, and the board. The team is okay. I still think Celtic easily win this league. But look, you've got to try and, Leicester City win the league, and in a time where everyone's just a bit off, and I'm not saying Hearts or anyone else can win the league. I don't think they will. But in terms of splitting it, it does feel like this is the time now to do it, and what that will do will inject more people interested in coming and invest in the game. Because unfortunately it is about money, isn't it? Money does play a big part. Better players, better pitches, better standard, more fans, all those things that come into it. So really good weekend. Really excited to be at the Derby on Saturday. It's going to be the first game I've been to this season. It's going to be the first game I've been to live in a long time. In a long, long time. And I'm excited, and I need to do that a lot more and maybe do a lot of these videos. So that's it for the Scottish games. More Champions League again tonight. Barca PSG. Really looking forward to watching that. That should be an attacking game, as I'm talking about, at pace. So let's see how it goes. Have a good one. It's Wednesday. It's hump day. It's a bit rainy. It's a bit dull here. And as always, until the next one. Peace.